Here's why I think coaching is one of the most important things that you could ever do as an investor. Now, in my own personal experience, I've had good coaches, I've had bad coaches. And one thing I found is that you're really paying for access. Access to investment opportunities, access to information, access to networks, maybe access to certain rooms. It's all about proximity at the end of the day. And so if you can get close to the money, if you can get close to the investment opportunities, if you can get close to the people that know how to do what you want to do, chances are that you're going to have access to those things. And so the easiest way to get access to those opportunities and that money and those investments is joining coaching programs, joining mentorships, joining masterminds. And I'm a huge fan of that. And I do that personally all the time. And I do that because I want access. So I think coaching is so important. So the first thing that I want to talk about is access to information. So the thing about coaching is that most of the time, these coaches have gone down the path that you want to go down. So for example, if I want to learn how I can raise $1 million, or let's say $100 million, let's make it more interesting. So I want to raise $100 million. How can I raise $100 million if I've never done it before? I probably wouldn't know where to start, right? The average person, if you just put them in a situation and you're like, hey, raise $100 million, they're going to look at you like, what are you talking about? They've probably never had $100,000 in their account, right? And you're telling them to raise 100 million. And the truth is, most people, over 75% of people, have never had $100,000 in their account. And so the majority of people are just going to be very confused and lost on what to do. Now, let's say you put that person in the situation and now they have this idea. They're like, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to raise the $100 million and I'm going to put it into, XYZ investment, whatever you're planning to do with it. So now they need to follow somebody's blueprint. They need to find somebody who's already done that. They need to find somebody who has the process more or less defined, and they need to take that information and start following those exact same steps. It's kind of like a roadmap. So now we have these people that are creating roadmaps, people who have already done the things that we want to do, and we're simply paying them for access to that information. And I know for a fact, if I could talk to younger Austin right now and I could sell him the information that I have right now, I would get here so much quicker. I would get where I am today in probably 1/10 of the time. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you're just paying for time to be accelerated on your behalf. You're paying for an acceleration of time. We're using money to pull forward time. If I have a business goal that I think it would take me 10 years to reach organically, I can go find a coach, somebody that's already done that thing that I want to achieve in 10 years, and I could literally cut that time in half or maybe in a third. So instead of it taking me 10 years on my own, just trying to figure it out, just kind of going with the flow, just taking it easy, as some people would say, I could hire a coach who's done exactly what I want to do, and I can take that information and literally pull time forward in my benefit and allow myself to start doing those things that I should be doing only in 10 years, except I could be doing them next year. I could literally grow 10 years in business in about 2 or 3 years. And I've done that multiple times in several areas of my business, just by finding that one key person that knows exactly the information that I need to know. And then I'll approach them and I'll pay them whatever they want to get paid in order to get access to that information, because I know the value of information. We live in an information world. And the truth is that there's not really a lack of information. There's actually an overwhelm of information. There's so much information out there that we don't really know what to do with it at this point. And we don't know what's important, what's not important. We have all these different stimuluses coming in. We have information from Instagram and from TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and all this information, all these gurus, all these experts. What do we pay attention to at the end of the day? And at the end of the day, I think that our goal is to be super clear on what exactly we want to achieve. So the more clear you can be on that goal, the more easily you're going to be able to identify what information you actually need. So, hey, is this mastermind going to have the information that I need, or is it this one? Is it this program or this coach that can teach me what I need to know, or is it this one over here? So we're accessing information. Coaching is about access to information. And then secondly, the second thing about coaching that I really value is access to network. And this is firstly because I believe that your network is your net worth. And one thing that I've noticed is that sometimes we get to a certain point in life, and I've seen this happen with people who are in big business, and they get to a certain point and they just get comfortable, and they might keep working hard, and their business might keep running 24/7, and they might still be working 80-hour weeks, but they forget one thing and they stop networking. And because they stop networking, you can see their business just kind of plateau. So in order for us to maintain not only good lead flow and client flow and all that stuff, that's all good, but that's separate, right? That's its own little department. Sales, marketing, that's its own department. We also have another department called partnering with other businesses, right? So business development. How can we develop our business? By partnering with people who have maybe a complementary service, right? Maybe something that they do that we need in our business, or something that I can provide as value to them. And so we start building these relationships with other CEOs, with other investors, with other business owners, and I'm huge on networking. I think that you have to continue networking. You can never stop networking. If you stop networking, that's not a good sign. So I'm always a huge fan of networking. I literally spend multiple six figures a year on networking every single year at this point. Hopefully one day I'll be spending seven figures a year on networking. And the reason is that I know that having a strong network is super, super important. It's very important to know the right people that you can provide value to. Firstly, I always try to provide as much value as I possibly can without asking for anything in return. That's one part that you got to get right. You can't just be doing things or networking because you want things from people, because you can feel that immediately. Whenever I go to a networking event and I feel like somebody wants something from me, it's usually kind of like a weird conversation. It's kind of like a turnoff in a way, where you don't really want to get to know that person because you know that they're just about to ask you for something, right? And so it just becomes this weird conversation where it's like, okay, well, cool, nice to meet you, you know? Whereas I always approach it without wanting anything. I don't expect anything from anybody. I don't want anybody to give me anything, but I want to provide value to them, because for me, the most fulfilling thing is providing value to somebody and making their life better. And if I can make somebody else's life better, that's a huge win for me. And I believe in that process, I'll gain a friend. And the thing is that life is very long, and you have to have some sort of system in place where you're consistently growing your network, you're making new friends, you're building new partnerships, and you're creating opportunities for yourself, because you never know, 10 years down the line, maybe you need to know somebody, some person somewhere that, hey, I went to a networking event 10 years ago and I met this guy and I provided a ton of free value for him. I helped him do XYZ. And now he just happens to be my only mutual connection with this person that I really, really need to know, right? So maybe, hey, at the end of the day, if that person wants to introduce me, they can introduce me. If not, it's totally fine. You can usually find another way to get in touch with people. But the importance of a network is huge. And I've seen this happen over and over and over again. Every single one of my events that I've ever had, a live event, people collaborating at that event have always made so much money with each other, and we've been documenting it, and they're literally making in the seven figures. So they attend the event, they get to know people, and they start making a lot of money together. So I think it's super, super powerful. I think it's at least worth looking into for people, because networking with people and getting access to information, those are the two huge things that I see in coaching, because it can accelerate your growth, it can accelerate your business, it can accelerate your investment portfolio and take you to that next level. So guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.